Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I'm super excited to announce the release of my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. If you're ready to alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level in 2021, head over to goldenkey.gift to download the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD. All right, all you positive heads, here we go again. Welcome to the show. So happy to be back here with you all. It's another beautiful day in paradise. Wherever you are, you're in paradise. You're floating in eternity. Nowhere you got to be, nothing you got to do. Survival is guaranteed. Change is guaranteed. What else matters, really? Think about it. If you're stressed at all when you turn this on, sometimes people will come to the show because they're feeling stressed. Just stop. Perspective, right? It's all perspective. You are literally an eternal being that's always been, always will be. Change is guaranteed. Survival is guaranteed. You're going to get through it, whatever it is. You always have. You got to this point, right? Every challenge. Think of some of the things that we've stressed about at points in our life that were such a big deal. And then now you barely remember them. So anything that you're ever going through is ultimately that. It's just a part of your process. And it's not, and the process is never going to end. So you might as well relax into it instead of like clinging on through like every little up and down. We're just getting beat up and all around. We can just like kind of find the calm in the center of the storm, right? That's the aim here. That's what the show is about. How do I find that calm in the center of the storm? It's been certainly a journey for myself and an ongoing one, but getting better every day. So I was just talking about that with a friend, and I'm betting a lot of you are too. I know I get feedback from a lot of you that you're getting better, and congratulations, you are doing the work. Like if you're doing that work and you're doing it successfully on any level, you are a raging success. Like seriously, like that is the ultimate to make progress in this way, because then everything becomes much more joyous and simple and easy and relaxed. And that's the point, right? We want to enjoy the ride, not be on the roller coaster. Like I think of a video, some of you guys might have seen it, viral video where this guy, every time they'd come to a dip, he'd wake up, he'd pass out, and then he'd wake up and like scream and pass out again, and then wake up and scream. And it was just back and forth, passing out over and over on all the dips of the roller coaster. And it's hilarious. And how many of us is that like us, right? We're just screaming and passing out and freaking out. And it's just like, you know what? And then meanwhile, the little girl next to him is just laughing the whole way through it. Whatever, and that's really where we want to be, right? And we're doing it. So congratulations you for being here right now and tuning into this vibration. It means you're doing it, and that is the ultimate definition of success in my book. And yeah, as far as getting feedback, as far as people doing it, you guys know I love hearing your reviews on iTunes, and there has been some good ones. Nonstop, really. And so every day I'm so excited when I see that the show's touched someone's life in any way, shape, or form. And let's see, this particular review that I'll read today is by Alpha Ada 3. It says, makes you think. My wife put me onto this podcast. I am only just getting into it, but I love it so far. I've been hopping around picking titles that interest me and that has served me well so far. The descriptions are well written and get you excited to check it out. Keep up the good work. I plan on sticking around. All right. Well, thank you so much for sticking around and taking the time to review. You are helping to spread the positivity. The show is reaching more people because of your reviews. So please, if you haven't reviewed on iTunes, do so, like Alpha83 here. And it's a great thing to be able to sort of skip around, especially there's almost 350 shows now, and which is wild to think about. So it's a lot of content there, right? A lot of listening. So you can search. We just got around to putting a search bar on the podcast page on positivehead.com because it goes so deep now with episodes. So you can search keywords and things like that. I definitely think that's a great way to dive in if you're relatively new to the show. Thank you, Alpha83. I also have another review. This is by So This Is Love, and the title is In Love. Brandon, I fall in love with you and your guest every time I listen to your show. Thank you for opening my cracked heart and helping me to believe in love again. Ashley M. Oh, Ashley, that one is such a lovely review. Thank you. Isn't it wonderful, to understand now that crack, the crack is where the light comes in, right? Like Leonard Cohen said. And so your heart, all of our hearts, have been broken or cracked in some way, shape, or form. And then the difference is you have people who shut down because of that and close up, and which leads to a lot of isolation and lack of love in your life, right? I say I'm willing to put my heart on the line and get it stomped 1,000 times if on the 1,001st time in a relationship I sort of have that experience that we all sort of long for. You've got to be willing to put it all on the line, put it all out there. It's the only way. We've got to be bold. And the most beautiful thing about love, Ashley, is it's you. It's what you are. It's not even something that is, out there in a partner that you find. And I'm sure you're realizing this. All of you guys are realizing this. I'm realizing this. It's like, it's within me. It's an energy that I am, that I resonate with. It is source, right? And so you can never not have love. And when you understand this, how can you not believe in love? It's like, it's almost laughable when you understand what love is. It's you. So it's like saying, I don't believe in myself, right? And now I can understand how if someone hasn't been resonating with that vibration and they've kind of cut themselves off from their source and unplugged, and so they've felt the lack of love, that makes sense. But really, you can only pretend to not be that which you are. And what are we doing here? We're all waking up more fully to that which we are. And so I applaud you, Ashley, and I love you right back. You completing the circle of love makes my heart open even further and makes me smile. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you guys, like I said, if you haven't reviewed on iTunes, please do so. It is the holy grail of all things podcasting, helps the show to reach new people. Also, Google Play now has a podcast platform. So please jump over there. You can there's a link to the show on positivehead.com or to Google Play's, page for this podcast, and you can just hit subscribe, and that's it. It's one click, and even if you're not getting the show there, by subscribing, it helps it to kind of climb the ranks over there and reach new people. Let's see here. Also, write in questions. Been getting some good questions. Actually, I'm going to address one today. So please do that. You can do so through Positive Head's contact page, positivehead.com, or my email directly, Brandon@positivehead.com. Love connecting with you guys on your questions. It helps to sort of craft and mold some of the some of the episodes. And of course, a lot of times what you're thinking, other people are thinking. There's like a collective consciousness, right? And we're certainly soul family coming together here, all of us connecting through this broadcast, right? It's all reflections here. We're all closely related. And so a lot of times what you're thinking and feeling, and maybe you're scared to ask or whatever, don't be. Put it out there. Put it on the Facebook group, if which is Positive Heads. Join us there if you're not there, for sure. A lot of people connecting there and getting questions there and people supporting each other. There was, in some cases, people don't want to remain anonymous. I had a question come in and say, hey, can you post this on the group? I just want to be anonymous, but I want to get the feedback from, the rest of the group. And man, the amount of wisdom and support coming from you guys, I was just it's like a proud parent, seeing you guys, like how much wisdom you all have. And that's the most beautiful thing. I just want to help give all of you all have a voice. We all want to be heard. And as this thing continues to grow, it's like you guys on that group, you're like my support You're helping to, in this case, I didn't even have to respond to this person. You guys did, and it was brilliant. There's so many great perspectives and wisdom. So I'm just so impressed with all of you and how much love you have and support for others. And so, yeah, get on that group, write in questions there, write them in anonymously. Also, the question today I'm going to address is anonymous. The person wanted to kind of be left anonymous, which is fine. But before I get into that question, one other quick thing. You guys may have heard a few days ago, we did a nano tap with Sonia Sophia at the end of one of the episodes. And some of you guys may or may not have heard, the interview with her where we did a longer tap, or, she's been on a few times and she'll be on some more. She's awesome. She's wonderful. And she's been so gracious to give like a discount to Positive Head listeners to join her circle, which she does Monday evenings live with people all over the world tapping together. It's the most simple emotional release I've come across. It's sort of like a physical activity to go with all this sort of mind and heart work we're doing, talking here on the show. It certainly can release a lot of blockages. Been getting a lot of feedback from people about how powerful and simple the process is. So she's been gracious enough through January to actually take it and give even a further discount to you guys. So if you go, it's like 50% off what the rest of the world would pay. If you just go to worldtappingcircle.com and you were to get a year, every Monday you can join or get the recording if you're not there. But what the only people who are being offered this is 50% off that. So she's going to do that through January. Go to worldtappingcircle.com/positivehead and you can sign up for that. But, okay, into today's episode here. Let's see. So the question that I got, really good one. A listener friend who I've connected with a few times, he said, I really got a lot out of the latest episode with Coot. And you guys, that's the most recent interview episode at the time of recording this. So, Coot Blackson, such a, powerful individual, but yeah, I got a lot out of that episode. I found that it brought up a lot of what I'm trying to work through, but I wanted to bring up a question over the duality presented that we are the one. That's the name of his book, actually, or you are the one. So the duality presented with that we are the ones to make things happen, save ourselves, take responsibility, etc. Yet on the flip side, we are not in control, that everything flows from God, universe, source, that we need to relinquish the idea that our ego selves are really in charge ultimately. At times, it's frustrating to hear a sort of pull yourself up by the bootstrap message, yet also know there's a complexity to these realities where we are in that seem deeper than that. Sometimes the you're on your own idea feels disempowering, especially when things are complex and very difficult. Maybe there's just no easy way about it. I'm a bit struggling in the middle of this myself. Of course, there's so much nuance to everything, I suppose. Another example he gave, Coot said something on the show like, you can meditate and pray and do yoga all the time, but until you're honest with yourself, it's just offsetting things. Or something like that, which took me back a little, mainly because the meditation path has led me to deep prayer and focus on God, which is a bit shocking for me to say in a way. But masters, gurus say meditation is the prime activity to undergo. To do it as much as possible, it's the root practice. I guess Coot made me feel a tad defensive, maybe, which speaks to myself. But I'm at the point where I really can't see forcing myself, pushing things, making goals, taking action as normally defined, as it's been so ego-driven and circular for me. Of course, balance is important if possible. So some really great points here. And it's one that I've certainly wrestled with myself at times, right? It's sort of this dichotomy. And that's something that I think we find a lot in he touched on it here in this message, the duality of living in the physical dimension, like, two apparently contradictory things that are both true, right? A divine dichotomy, like you and I are separate. That's true. We can definitely make an argument and say that and see that, right? Then from another perspective, you and I listening are one. That certainly is, I would say, the ultimate truth, right? Although it's a little more hidden, perhaps. It's a little less obvious on the surface. Both perspectives are ultimately true, depending on through what lens you're examining the concept, right? So I definitely feel this one, like it's like, hey, I'm in control. I'm co-creating. I am the creator. I am source. I am God. I am making my own reality. hold on, there's something bigger than me and I'm completely out of control and I need to surrender to that. It's like, hold on, how do you sort of come to terms with those two concepts? And I would say, which is true? I would say yes. Is this one true? Yes. Is that one true? Yes. And we can dig in a little bit deeper into that. And that's actually what I want to do today. I think, I'm going to actually play, what do you know? I'm going to call in my backup, the big guns, Abraham. My favorite, because I found a great talk on this from Abraham. But before I play that, one of the things that Abraham is saying is you'll hear her say, or them say in this recording the snippet that I'm going to play is, the reason surrender feels like such a part of what we're supposed to be done, or we're supposed to do, this whole thy will be done concept, let go and let God. The reason all that kind of in surrender feels so important is because it is. But it feels like, okay, how do you deal with that as opposed to I'm creating my reality, I'm the one in control, and it's both. You want to identify what you want and then surrender to it. So it's this sort of ebb and flow. It's this, I drum up all this energy, creative energy. I do what I can, let go of expectation, release, shoot a rocket of desire of what I want, release, surrender, and detached from results and expectations and feeling like I need anything to happen. So that's the gist of this. Both are true. There is, I've heard Abraham talk about it before, not in this one that I'm going to play, but she talks about, okay, you can have desires and ideas and you take action to create those, right? But then release them, because your higher self, God source, higher self, whatever you want to call it, it can even see more of the chessboard. And perhaps there's even something greater and grander than that can be delivered to you that you hadn't even really thought of at a physical level. So that's where it sort of, you're kind of doing a dance with your higher self or God here. It's a co-creative process. You're doing this together. It needs you as much as you need it, but it's back and forth, right? So you're finding the art of living is finding that balance right in between surrender and taking action, right? It's both. And so when you can understand that, okay, I'm going to put this desire out there, I'm going to take action, but there may be some part of me that can see way more than I can see, and I'm going to relax and surrender to the potential that there could be something different that's even more in line with my underlying reasoning for doing or wanting what it is I think I want. There may be something way better that source sees that's tenfold better. So this is where it's at. This is kind of that fine line that we're learning to walk. And hopefully this helps for any of you guys who have battled with this. Certainly you who wrote in, my friend, hopefully this helps give you some perspective. I know it gives me some perspective to really dive into it. I had to, when you wrote the question, I was like, oh yeah, I felt this one. I've even referenced this in, sometime in the last month as something kind of out loud that I was like, yeah, this is one that even kind of stumps me, who often has plenty of ideas about what is or isn't going on, right? This is a good one. This is a really good one to dig into. So let's dig a little bit further. Let's check out Abraham and see what Abraham says about it. This particular YouTube clip I found is called What Does Thy Will Be Done or Surrender Mean? Let's take a listen.
Would you please clarify for me the law of deliberate creation along with the spiritual teaching of let thy will be done or surrender?
Most of you find yourselves vacillating back and forth between what feel like contradictory points. Sometimes we hear you say, well, Abraham, I don't think I'm supposed to be a deliberate creator because aren't I here to do God's bidding? And then we hear you say on the other end of that, well, I don't think I'm supposed to follow my guidance because aren't I here to prove worthiness? There are so many different offerings about who you are and why you are here that you have this confusion. when you use the word surrender, it feels like not being deliberate. It feels like giving up, doesn't it? But the reason that the word surrender resonates somewhere as some sort of truth to you is because what you're wanting to do is identify that which is wanted and then relax into it. In other words, when you surrender, what that means is don't resist the opposite. Surrender into what you do want rather than fighting the battle against what you don't want. That's what your teacher, you mentioned it earlier, Jesus Christ meant when he said, turn the other cheek. He did not mean turn it so that they can whip that too. Or he did not mean, he meant when you see something not wanted, identify what is wanted and give your attention to that. You see. Helpful? You are wanting more clarification?
Yes, most of the time, like, this is how I use both the teaching, okay? If I want something and I'm flowing energy to it and kind of, allowing it to happen and it's not happening and it creates a lot of discomfort, you say, well, it's God's will, let it go. If it is to happen, it will happen. So that reason...
But when you're having a lot of discomfort, is God flowing through you?
No.
In other words, you see, here's what's happening. Once you've identified that you want something, it naturally increases your awareness of where you stand relative to it. So if you've identified you want something and you don't have it, now you have sort of increased the crevasse of lack, so to speak. So then if you are struggling trying to push against a crevasse of lack, then you vibrationally disallow the very thing that you want. Where if you will talk about what you want and why you want it, that's the way you surrender into it. Let's take another run at it. We believe you'll hear this clearly. Very often, physical friends will say to us, Abraham, why is it the things that I really, really want come hard or not at all? And the things I don't care about come so easily. And we say, because the things you don't care that much about, you don't think that much about. And since most of you are programmed to think lackfully, then the more you think about something, the more you shoot yourself in the foot. Interesting, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So what you're wanting to do is reach a place where you can think about what you are wanting. You see, you asked earlier, what's the ratio? In other words, how can I decrease this buffer of time? How can I really get the energy flowing? And we say, by thinking more about what you do want and less about what you don't want. And so you say, well, if I just launch it and I never think about it again, will it come? And we say, yes, but if you want it to come faster, then launch it and think about it, but not in any lackful way. So it's really a product of paying attention to the way you are feeling. Jerry and Esther were driving through a city in Atlanta, and Esther was listening for music, using the scanner, trying to find a beautiful song. And the scanner stopped. It was one of those digital scanners, and it stopped on a station, and the light lighted up, but there was no sound. And so Esther turned the volume up louder, thinking that a song would begin. But instead it was a religious station, and the preacher was pausing for effect. And the first words that boomed into the car were, "You must fear God." Jerry nearly drove off the road. The volume was so loud, and Esther is shuddering. The message is so awful. And then Esther said, I can feel God within me. And fear is the absence of that. So when you say, let go and let God, or surrender into that which I believe is goodness, what you're really saying is hold objects of attention where you feel good while you're holding them. Appreciation, love, peace, a feeling of enthusiasm. That is all connection with that, you see. We promise you, friends, that if you did not have reason to continue the creative endeavor here in this physical body, you would not be here in this physical body. In other words, if you did not have reason to focus, if you did not have purpose in your beingness, you would have come here as a frog or a tree or something that receives the benefit of the energy. Now that's somebody that's really letting go and letting God. The tree.
Yeah.
The frog. The squirrel. In other words, most creatures other than you are doing exactly that, and that is wonderful. But you have reason beyond that. You are wanting to let the energy flow to you and through you toward objects of attention that you decide Can you feel how it is? You are wanting to take thought beyond that which it has been before. This combination of beings has never been before into all of the universe. The combination of the intentions that you hold and the beliefs that you hold and that which you vibrationally are and the combination that you are within and the combination of that which we are, this combination has not been before unto all of the universe. And here today, in this moment, we are literally going beyond. This conversation that we are having with you relative to the subject of surrender has just taken greater depth and breadth than it has ever taken in all of the universe as a result of this combination. Can you feel it? That's creation. Now, if you had just let go and let God, how much of that would have been achieved? In other words, if you hadn't experienced the contrast which evoked the wanting for the clarity, which brought forth the question, which brought forth the response, what would have happened? Do you see what we're getting at? It is the blending. Someone asked about the blending of that which is non-physical and that which is physical that is the best of all worlds. A good rule of thumb is make more decisions than every day and pay attention to the way you feel. So let's coin a new terminology. Rather than saying let go, those were not your words, but it was sort of the vibration that we were hearing. Rather than saying let go and let God, say decide and let God. Choose and let it flow. As I am here in this physical body, I will chew on the data and I will feel my place within it. And I will decide, and in my positive deciding, energy will flow and the universe will expand as a result of my beingness. Good. So next time you feel frustration, realize I'm not letting go. I'm not letting it happen. I'm not letting the energy flow through me. I've got my pipe clogged. Always the same reason, looking at the lack of something I want. Just adjust the direction of your vortex or change the attention. Look at the stapler instead of the flowers or whatever. And as you change your gaze, you will feel the energy beginning to flow again. Good. Very good.
So yeah, she said it right there at the top. I identify what's wanted and then relax into it. Surrender feels like, one of the problems with it. It feels like you're not being deliberate. You're giving up, and such a powerful point. That's made here. The problem is we're resisting the opposite of what you want a lot of times. So we're thinking about what we want, and then we're resisting it. And we've kind of gotten used to focusing on the lack of what it is. So we think about what we want, and then we say, I want this. And but look, here's all the evidence that I don't have it. Let's talk about that. Let's think about that. And this is what, she was referencing the famous kind of incontroversial concept presented by Jesus Christ in the Bible that said, turn the other cheek. I've heard a lot of people talk about that. What do you mean, turn the other cheek? And that's what she's saying. He's not saying turn it so you can hit me there. It's saying focus on what you want, not on the discomfort. If you're having discomfort, source isn't flowing through you. You're unplugged, right? So once you ID what you want, increase awareness of where you stand, right? And it's just all about, understanding as a culture in general, we're programmed to think lackfully, she said, which is why the more we think about something, the more it doesn't appear oftentimes. And then things that we don't think about very much seem to come easily. That's because you're not offering any resistance to it. She's even said before, like, if you can just put it out there and completely forget, that's way better than focusing on, it too much, and which then brings up the vibration of not having it and, so forth. So it's this, once again, it's this dance. And the way you really get this down and get good at it is you're always paying attention to the way you're feeling. Using it as a sort of a barometer. I'm really aware now when I start getting into an agitated state or something like that, I can see, that's actually, Brandon, that's your guidance system saying it's like an alarm going off. alert, you are out of alignment. Your energy it started out of alignment prior to you getting into this agitated state. Now you can continue to escalate it, or you can pay attention to this alarm that's going off. That's kind of like saying, hey, pay attention to how you're feeling. Where are you resonating? Course correct. And man, when I've started looking at it as that, instead of I'm agitated and this thing is happening and it's just what I am, instead, I look at it as an alarm there to help me. Like, take your hand off the hot stove, please. Man, what a difference it's made. It makes it easy. I'm getting so much better at reversing that spiral, that negative spiral. And I'll tell you, in the past, friends or family who've known a younger me will tell you, it's like when I would get agitated or redlined, it's like, watch out, because words have definitely always been sort of a powerful thing in my world, and it can certainly be used for evil as well as good, right? Getting agitated and just getting, very verbally aggressive or aggressive in general and fiery. So it's such a great thing to be able to use this to sort of catch yourself and back out. And what a great, kind of example. She says, look, a tree is something that's completely letting go and letting God. You have reason beyond that. This is a big one for the question that was written in. You have reason. You want to go farther than ever before. This conversation on surrender is the deepest that's ever happened in the history of creation on this planet, right? Maybe it's had it happen on other planets. Who knows? But certainly we're at the cutting edge with this conversation. It's the blending of that which is physical and non-physical that is best of all. That is the best of all worlds. That's what Source wants to evolve itself to. The tree is a beautiful thing, but that's completely the letting go and letting God. That's an experience Source can have too. That's not the one that we're here having. We're focused on the cutting edge, this blending of co-creativeness, right? And I love how she gave good rule of thumb: make more decisions every day, right? That's where you're creating, and then pay attention to what you feel. That's it. And let go, and then let go of it. Pay attention to what you're focusing. What are you feeling? What are you focused on? Making decisions. That becomes the job. That becomes the goal. That becomes the aim. That is how we get really good at this art of creation and manifestation, art of living. You're going to become like a beautiful artist doing this. This is the ultimate art form, right? The art of manifestation. I often say this is the next great art form. How successful of a manifester are you? And this is how you do it. And rather than saying, at the very end, she says, rather than saying let go and let God, say decide and let God. There's your combination right there. Right? That puts it into words. Choose, let it flow. And the universe is expanding with you. This new way of doing it, this next level of godding. The universe is expanding because of your beingness. And if you ever feel like you're not enough, or you should be, you are it. You are the cutting edge. Give yourself a break. You are a beautiful, beautiful being. You're a warrior of love. And with that, I'm going to leave this song by Aurora called Warrior. And it's so beautiful and moving. You beautiful warriors of love, you keep on keeping on. Until next time, journey well. Love you all. Also, before we cue up today's song, as a quick reminder, don't forget to download the Golden Key audio or ebook as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the Golden Key code POSITIVEHEAD. And please, if you enjoy my gift, leave a positive review on Amazon so others can unlock their lives with the help of the Golden Key as well.
I cry for the world, for everyone, and I built a boat to float in, I'm floating away. I can't recall last time I opened my eyes to see the world as beautiful, and I built a cage to hide in, I'm hiding, I'm trying to battle the night. Let love conquer your mind. Why warrior, warrior, just reach out for the Lord. Warrior, warrior, I am warrior, yeah, yeah, yeah. Warrior, warrior, I am warrior, yeah, yeah, yeah. Warrior, warrior, I stand behind a wall of people and force mind controlling, and I hold a sword to guide me. I'm fighting my way. I can't recall last time I opened my eyes to see the world less beautiful, and I built a cage to hide in. I'm hiding, I'm trying to battle the night. Ha, ha, hide, let love conquer your mind. Warrior, warrior, just reach out for the Lord. Warrior, warrior, I am warrior, yeah, yeah, yeah. Warrior, warrior, I am warrior, yeah, yeah, yeah. Warrior. Underneath darkened skies, there's a light kept alive. Let love conquer your mind. Warrior, warrior, just reach out